Hey guys, it's time for another edition of Dermie's Comic Reviews. I read through quite a bit of individual issues, and I'm not going to do just a one series video. I'm going to do reviews on the various titles that I've read over the past week, one issue at a time, maybe two in some cases. Not reviewing the whole series per se, issue by issue, just one or two issues at a time, and maybe summarizing the plot or the points up until that time. So, first issue, kind of going in somewhat loose alphabetical order, but not really, is Avengers issue 17. This concludes the war with the vampires in Russia, the Red Guard, and I forget the name of the vampire horde, but basically Nazi vampires. It was pretty good. I give it a thumbs up. Kind of obviously leads to another conclusion and leaves things open in the future. The interesting thing is the inclusion of Blade in the Avengers and just the overall vampire tone makes this for a really dark Avengers kind of book, which I find kind of interesting with the lead up to Savage Avengers. And Blade seems more akin that he would be on that book. So maybe he'll be in some later versions of Savage Avengers. Who knows? But he's on the real regular Avengers right now. So we'll see what happens. Next up is one that I kind of got talked into by my guys at the comic shop, was Major X. No clue, no backstory. Just that, it's issue 1. Rob Liefeld, is involved. Guy that helped create Deadpool. So, I thought, I'll give it a go. See if it's interesting. It's a new character. It was okay. Not much really going for it as far as the way it backgrounds. It kind of jumps in the middle, and if you don't know what the heck's going on, it's all over the place. Multiple timelines, converging on multiple timelines, people jumping back and forth, trying to figure out who Major X is, and two Deadpools, quotation fingers, on the same panel, both talking with yellow bubbles. It makes it kind of confusing trying to figure out which Deadpool is talking. You kind of have to use frame of reference in their sentence structure. But one guy is called Dreadpool. Yeah. And by the end of the issue, Major X is revealed. No huge earthquaking reveal. It was kind of a meh, okay. Well, I'm not too surprised, but then again, I kind of figured it would be someone else. But yeah, it's okay to pick it up, but I'm not going to continue reading it because, quite frankly, I got enough of my timelines and jumping around fill right now with X-Force going on, so I don't need too much more of that. Next up is Spawn 295. I enjoyed it, but the cover kind of gives away what happens in the issue, especially this one, but it's getting kind of tiresome with every Spawn issue here of late, featuring in the same issue Spawn getting, he's on the ropes, he's eviscerated. I mean, in this one, he's crucified by Clown/Violator, and spoiler alert, it's not the end of Spawn. Obviously, they're going to go through 300 and 301, so he gets out of the jam, and this kind of gives you a summarization of where the issue is going, but just that he gets on down these ropes, and then it's, I've been waiting for you all along, or waiting for the right moment to completely turn the tables, Deus Ex Machina. Just, it's getting kind of tired, kind of played out. Like, enough with, it was like literally watching an episode of Bleach. So I hope they cut it out. I hope, when the more lead up to issue 300 and 301 is better. But the next couple issues, I think, are just giant recap issues of pretty much the past 290 some odd issues. So to get newbies, kind of like myself, a chance to refresh without, reading Wikipedia and going through every single issue, which I still have the first 50 issues and not read a single one of them. I've collected them here recently. So maybe I want to read them first. Probably not. I'll probably just read those summarization and then enjoy them knowing the actual ending. But next issue I have up is Robotech. It says issue number 19. There's this countdown thing up here in the corner, I think -2, so they must be leading up to a new series or cap. We're kind of getting late in the original Macross saga right now. I haven't reviewed this series before. I've enjoyed it, but I don't recommend it for everybody. If you really like the original Robotech, the anime from back in the 80s, and if you've kind of followed it or still following it, or if you watched it way back when and you kind of want to like relive that, I recommend picking up this series. There's several trades out. If you can find them, if you can find the old issues, like finding comic shops that actually carry this book is more difficult than what you would think. But I've enjoyed it. There's a lot of twists compared to the old story. It's still got the same story beats, SDF this, leaving that Rick and Roy, Min May, and Oliver singing crap, which is a lot less annoying in print version versus anime version. But there are some very key twists that make it not boring. I will say that. But if you're into Robotech, or if you're into robots, mobile suits, that type of thing, I recommend picking it up and giving it a good read. But if not, this one's easily passable by vast majority of everybody else. Next up, I have Uncanny Xmen issue 14 and Uncanny Xmen issue 15. I enjoyed these issues. I like how Uncanny Xmen first started out with this bringing everybody back together in the Glory Dream Team, and spoiler alert, after 10 or so issues, they disappear, and now it's Wolverine, Cyclops, Havoc, and several of the other kind of lesser known really X-Men, at least not the main AAA popular ones, but kind of sorting through the rift, and kind of has this kind of like fading out, going extinct kind of vibe for it. It's post-apocalyptic for mutants, but it's everyday lives for everyone else, if that makes sense. Hope Summers is in this issue, in issue 15, and it's getting pretty interesting. So I recommend looking into it if you're a fan of X-Men, picking up trades or trying to hunt back down the other issues, which probably are pretty hard to find now for the past couple, 2 months. But yeah, I say go for it if you're interested in X-Men, seeing what's going on right now in the X-Men universe. Next up, I have Spiderman Lifestory, the 1960s. And I like the cover. I thought it was very cool, interesting, Vietnam kind of cover. And the selling point for me on this, before I even looked at the artwork, was this guy's name right here, Mr. Chip Zdarsky. I saw that name and I'm like, you know what, this is probably going to be pretty good. I should pick it up and give it a try. And I wasn't disappointed. They're approaching the story as if Spider-Man, when it began in the 1960s, and it's going to carry on through the decades until now. And it was kind of cool revisiting the early 60s era Spider-Man, and Flash Thompson's going off to war, going to Vietnam of all things, and encountering their high school transition into college years. And you just know the next issue, it's going to take place 10 years later, so there's going to be lots of changes, the 1970s. So I'm kind of interested in seeing where this is going, and the inclusion of Captain America and the whole Vietnam thing. I really enjoyed it, and for being a limited series, it's worth it. All right, finally getting into War of the Realms era here. I got Thor number 11. It's 1 month before a major comic event. No big reveals, just more basic filler before the big comic event of the summer, pretty much. If you like Thor, if you're into trying to figure out what's the lead up to War of the Realms, this is one of the stepping stones to it. And finally, I have War of the Realms issue 1. This was a pretty cool cover. It's a wraparound. I already bagged and boarded it, but just a giant battle scene, and it's pretty cool. There's so many variant covers. They're trying to talk me into buying them. I was like, no, I'll just stick with the standard cover. But it floats around a lot. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on in the panels. I mean, a lot. And taking the time to read and look through the panels for all the minor little details was very different in opposed to reading. If you read Major X and then read this, Major X basically has nothing in the background, just white background around characters. It's all about the images of the characters. This is about, as you can see, a whole lot of complex stuff going on all at once. I'm getting the War of the Realms series, but as far as all the other tie-in titles, there is a blue million of them. I'm not getting those unless they're like tied into the main ones I'm reading, like Thor and Avengers and Venom. For some reason, Uncanny Xmen has a War of the Realms tie-in. Like, I understand Civil War, maybe some, Fear itself, like some of those tie-ins, which did also get very excessive, but War of the Realms is just so tied to Thor that it just doesn't fit that all these other characters have War of the Realms tie-ins. But, whatever. I'm going to read the main storyline. It seems enjoyable. Might drop Thor afterwards, just because everything here lately has been leading up to this, and once this is over, what's left for Thor? So, but I'll definitely be updating on these, and we'll be going from there in the next upcoming reviews. I got a couple other reviews planned. I have basically the last 8 or 10 issues of Amazing Spider-Man to review. They're sitting on a pile behind this that I haven't even gotten to read because I've been so busy. I also want to do a review video for the new Conan the Barbarian series and the Savage Sword of Conan. I'm waiting until I get the most recent issue of Savage Sword and reading that, and then I'll probably just do a big Conan video. And also doing Avengers No Road Home limited series. It's coming to a close, but it's going to tie into Savage Avengers. So I want to read all those and then tie it into Savage Avengers. Those are my future planned videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Hope you guys pick up some of these books and titles. And if you get a chance to, leave me a comment down in the comment section. Subscribe if you're interested. Let me know if there's other titles you want to see, if you think I should be reading and reviewing. And we will check you guys next time. Thanks.